G'day, welcome back to another episode of Falcons in their Natural Habitats. This is episode 2 of the wagon build. If you're returning from the first video, good to have you back. Good to see you again. If you're a first time viewer, I'd highly recommend going and checking out that first episode, just over here. Gives you a bit of a background on the wagon and the road so far, if you will. Now for those of you that did watch the first episode, you might remember this particular clip. Today we're going to be delving into the why it was making that horrible noise. Have a bit of a look in the engine bay, see what else is going on in there. Now that we've got it up, we can get into the real meat and potatoes of it. Obviously the goal for today is to be doing this water pump because we know that's a problem. There's also another little coolant leak sitting down the back here that it's an O-ring on a pipe that fails on these ones, so I'll replace that while I'm at it. I don't know the condition or the history of any of the other cooling system components, so while everything's apart, I'll be doing the radiator, doing all the cooling system hoses, thermostat and gasket, do the heater tap down the back under the intake manifold there, and while it's empty, give it all a good flush and a clean through so there's no muck sitting around in there. Nice. Oh yeah. Oh my fuck. I've just about had enough of this damn thing. It's been fighting me every single step of the way. There was an idler pulley bracket just down in here, got that out of the way. Even ended up putting the belt back onto the water pump just so I could try and hold it in place while I tried to crack this nut. It's honestly the dumbest f***ing idea I've ever come across to hold a clutch fan on. Like, I get this was the early 90s. Give you a shot. Easy for these nuts to just seize in place. A bit of a water leak, a bit of sitting, a bit of and it just seizes in there. It's the dumbest ever. So as you can see, still tight as buggery, and honestly don't know what else I'm going to do here. Like, oh, never mind. Holy heck. Have a look at all of that. I'm glad I didn't run this thing for very long because that would have cooked in no time at all. That's just completely blocking that flow. Geez, if you thought inside that hose was bad, check this out. That is just chock-a-block full. It's going to be interesting once we get this thing off. See how bad it is in there. Oh boy. Just went to undo this bolt here, and you can see that it's already protruding a little bit. Oh boy. Gets better. It's not looking all that great down here either. You can see that. It's a nice big plug of stuff in it. In there doesn't look too bad. Hopefully all that will clean up with good flush through the block. That, a bit of a different story. I might actually have to take that pipe off. It runs under the exhaust manifold there. I'll have to take that off, flush it out and check up the back as well. See if up the back of this pipe is blocked as well. Gift keeps on giving. Potentially some good news out of this one. That big block of corrosion crap, it doesn't look like it has gone up inside the block here, which is very good. I'll give everything a good flush through of course, but fingers crossed that's all clear. Up inside this pipe there does look to be a little bit of corrosion and crud, so I'll see what I can do about cleaning him out. There is a lot of oil through here though, that's my main concern. You know, these timing tensioner things here are quite common to leak, so I'll do what I can to fix that. Main concern though is this guy here, which is the junction between the head here and the timing cover. That looks to be a lot of silicon, so that's either been put on after the fact and someone's tried to stop a leak, or the head has been off before. I don't know which is more concerning, but basically I won't know if that's leaking until I get it running again and find out, so that could be an interesting one. Another thing I noticed here is this alternator doesn't spin very freely. I mean, it probably looks alright on camera here, but by hand it doesn't spin nice and smoothly like you'd expect it to. So it tells me, well, it's full of oil, full of crud, it's been sitting for a while. I'd say the bearings are a bit how you going, or just all the windings are covered with stuff. So I might be up for a new one of those as well. Well, I'm at a bit of an impasse here. This is This is quickly blowing out of proportion. I knew it was going to be bad, but the extent of the corrosion in the cooling system has me worried. Water pump, fine. You can deal with that, that's easy enough to fix. But when the water pump turns into solid plugs of corrosion, which turns into that bypass pipe around the back of the engine, blocked up, hard deposits, not stuff that can be easily flushed out, you start to wonder, is the heater core alright? If that's not alright, that's a dash out job, and that's a lot more than I was banking on doing. The Welsh plugs under the manifold, that's a pretty big one. Easy enough to do, I understand that. I've spoken to a few people and they said that years ago when these things were still kicking around a lot, you could do them with the manifold and you wouldn't have to stuff around and take it off. That's not the point. If it was just the cooling system, it wouldn't be so bad. I'd do what I could to clear out any of the corrosion, any of the blockages, but I did a compression test just out of curiosity, and that's where things got a little bit dicey. Cylinders 1 through 4, good compression, about 200 psi, happy days. Cylinder 5, 150. Cylinder 6, 130. That's a big drop, and that doesn't fill me with any glee about the internal health of this engine. A drop like that indicates there's either a crack in between the two cylinders in the head, worst case. Best case, it's the gasket. Even so, it's a big job to get these things off. They're not a light cylinder head, and I'm just one guy. Honestly, the future of this particular car is a little bit uncertain at the moment. I'm not going to rush into any decisions. What will probably happen is I'll put it outside, stick it in a corner, and I'll come back to it later on. I don't want to just get rid of it right now because it is a nice car, it is something a bit special. But I just need to work out what I'm doing and concentrate on the other big project first. At least get a start on that and then come back to this, see how we go at the end, see what happens with it. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, even though this video didn't exactly go as planned. Stick around, there's still more to come, there's definitely more to come. But this one might just be going in the back burner for a little while. Cheers.